Today, we drive up to historic Camden to visit one of the newest restaurants in the Midlands, B. Colson, where the food and fine dining is a family affair.
B. Colson comes from my daughter's name is Briley, and my son's name is Colson. When we first started, Briley didn't want anything to do with it. She didn't want a spotlight. But now, a couple months ago, we were driving to soccer practice, and she's like, "Daddy, I got an idea." I'm like, "What's that?" We should call it C. Briley's. And I'm like, "It's a little too late for that." But we'll name the best cut of meat after you, so we named the filet the Briley filet. So we're specializing in steak, seafood, and bourbon. But of course, we've got many dishes, across the board with chickens and pastas and salads. So we have just about anything that somebody might want.
And we didn't have to wait long to try out this famous filet.
This is the Briley filet.
Beautiful. So tell us a little bit about it.
So the filet, of course, we have we do an upper 2/3 choice right below prime. And we have a maitre d' butter, an herb maitre d' butter that's on top of it there.
Look at that.
The biggest thing we try to do is everybody can buy a great steak, So I played around with about 6 or 7 different seasonings of combinations until we finally came up with this one. I did a couple of B. Colson showcases for some caterings here in Camden over the last 6 months or so, and this seasoning won all of them.
That is absolutely delicious. That you said this is an herb butter on top.
Yep.
You can taste the herbs in it. This is more of a herby steak than I'm used to, but I love that.
Right.
And it is so tender. If you were to give that to me, and I consider myself somewhat of a steak expert, I don't know if I would be able to tell that this is a filet because it's more tender than the ones that I'm used to.
Nice.
It is absolutely delicious.
That means we've done our job right.
Yes, and then tell us what's on the side here.
So we've got a specialty side item for us, which is a Parmesan Brussels sprouts that we saute. Of course, we've got a salt, pepper, garlic seasoning blend on it. And so we try to make it just a little bit different in most places.
Yeah, the seasoning blend is amazing on that. I love the touch of Parmesan too, something that I don't usually think of when I think Brussels sprouts, but it really works.
Yeah.
Great classic side for steak.
Absolutely. I started out while I was in college working with Outback Steakhouse as a server, and I absolutely loved it. So I went into the kitchen, worked my way up through the company, became managing partner, was managing partner. I was with Outback for 20 years, managing partner with it for 10 years. So learned a lot during that point being an owner-operator. And so that's a big part of my experience. I was also with Landry Seafood for a while, so that got me more my seafood side of it. So between those two things, that's almost 25 years there. And then we also own Hill Street Grill here in Camden that we've had for the last 5.5 years. We came back to Camden when I bought that, and so it's just been great being back home. So it's been awesome. I mean, I still run into people all the time that I haven't seen, and I've been here for 5.5 years. So it's really neat doing that and reconnecting. Growing up here, I felt that my parents always knew what I was doing before I knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
Which wasn't as fun as the kid, but now as the parent, I love it because now I know what my kids are doing before they know what they're doing.
Speaking of kids, we got to meet the self-proclaimed future owner of the company.
We have a very special guest with us. You might recognize the name. Tell us your name.
Colson Edwards.
Colson sounds a lot like B. Colson. Did you know that?
Yeah.
So what's your favorite thing on the menu here?
Probably the maple glazed pork chop.
And why is that?
It's just really good. Like the sauce from it, really helps bring out the flavoring from the seasoning and just the juice on the inside.
And what's your favorite dessert here?
It's definitely a mix between the banana foster and the volcano cake.
What would you tell someone who doesn't know where to take their Valentine for Valentine's Day?
Come here.
You think you'll take over the family business?
Yeah, absolutely.
Colson's confidence aside, I did want to try out that bananas Foster he mentioned.
We're going to do the bananas Fosters, which is ice cream rolled in crepes. We also have a bananas Foster sauce that we make here in-house that is to die for, topped with whipped cream, sliced bananas, and then again bananas Foster sauce over the top with chocolate sauce and candied pecans. Try that there, it's going to be great. Also with that, we also got a creme brulee.
Oh,
and then we have a chocolate volcano, which is basically like a lava cake with ice cream and whipped cream with it. We do it with a strawberry. So we've got some of those that we're in the works right now, and then we will also, we've been working on about 2 or 3 more desserts that we'll be bringing up soon.
Oh my gosh.
We want to keep the anticipation
If they're anything
going.
like this, I know they're going to be
absolutely
just delicious. This is amazing. It's been a long time since I've had Bananas Foster, but now I'm probably gonna have a regular craving after tasting this.
Absolutely, yeah, it's one of those things. I'll be like, hey, you're gonna do the flaming show at the table, and of course, from an insurance standpoint, we try not to work on that anymore, like the late '90s, early 2000s. But the flavor profile on it is out of this world, so it's really good.
Before we move on to our next course, I just had to ask about the ambiance as well as the Great Gatsby themed painting on the wall.
So here in Camden, a lot of our places have the horse theme, of course, with the Carolina Cup,
Right.
Revolutionary War, of course. So we try to do something a little different. And Camden, back in the 1920s, was sort of the heydays where a lot of people from up north came down to vacation, because we had 3 different hotel resorts, 3 different golf courses. So that's sort of the theme of what we did in here. So you see a lot of black and a lot of gold. So we try to keep that theme just to be a little bit different for being here in Camden. Right. In that painting, you see a lot, it looks like the Great Gatsby. It was painted in like less than 30 minutes at an auction here in Camden. Vincent Shaheen's the one that bought it, and he's the one that asked me as far as you'd like to put it in here, because also over on the left-hand side of that picture has the clock tower here in Camden, just 1 block over.
Amazing.
So yeah, it's pretty neat. Well, I wanted an open kitchen, just it's different. There's not a lot. There are more that are coming around. There's definitely none around here in Kershaw County. And I think a lot of people, they don't realize what it takes to operate in a kitchen and how many people it takes to execute to be able to get that timely manner of having a great pace of service and dining experience to come out. And it takes a lot of communication and a lot of people. Shrimp and grits are amazing. They really are. A lot of people have them, but you need to come try those. Those things are awesome. The pork chop does really well. Of course, I make all of our own seasonings, so that's what sets our steaks apart from everybody else's, because everybody can buy a great quality steak, but the seasonings and the way it's prepared, makes all the difference in the world. So those are doing really well. We've also we started a new appetizer last week with the fried deviled eggs, and those have taken off. And Banana Fosters for dessert is just out of this world.
Coming up after the break, we try some drinks, an appetizer, and taste a few more delicious meals. Plus, we'll hear from customers on what they think of Camden's newest dining experience, B. COLSON'S.